All right, hello. We are live now. We're recording.
Hello, hello.
Hi, how are you? It's good to.
Radio show.
Yeah, and this is actually it's kind of funny because this feels like the backstage because the main one, even though that also doesn't mean have an audience, but like with Joshua, we do this. We've been doing this podcaster call thing, and this is the backstage version because I don't know how to. I don't have the professional tools he has. I'm just recording on my.
Well, it's a humble beginning.
Yeah.
All beginnings are humble.
Yeah, and honestly, about while we're here, by the way, I mean, this is the thing about like what I do about like information ecosystems, like the correct marketing isn't the one that has the most eyeballs, it's the one that reaches the right people, right?
Yeah.
So, like yeah, you could have something with like an audience of 5 people, but if it's the right 5 people, then we're doing the right thing.
Quality versus quantity, sir.
Yeah. So, okay, this is kind of our first our actually first have we ever done a Twitter space? I don't think we have.
And your first anon guest.
Yeah, and I mean, I do want to do like with Joshua something, but just want to do weekly thing with you, just to kind of catch up. Which is this is what we're here for. We're here. This is the goal. Catch up with,
Mhm.
and because like the things you and I talk about. Okay, then this is why I wanted to record this, because
Yeah.
the work you and I are doing is uh, towards the highest, or maybe the umbrella for like what I'm doing. So if we once we figure something out and decide to take action, there's a lot of people that I need to like then communicate that to as an updated
Mm.
direction. Like this, basically like direction updates happen here, and I want like anytime Defender has a direction update, I want that to kind of be first of all
You want to propagate to the rest of the.
not just propagating. I actually want it to be like two-way. Like if I'm
I
having
see.
if I'm having direction updates, okay, because here's the fun part. Okay, and this is why um, we're having a game of Blood on the
You,
Clock Tower tonight, actually, at my
ah,
place.
that's very good.
And I've actually been you might find this surprising, but I've been talking to friends about how Blood on the Clock Tower represents not just the game, but like their experience in Civilization. And it's kind of blowing their minds because they're like, no, it's just a game. I was like, okay, but think about your relationship to your manager and to his manager and to those guys over there, and how like there's information asymmetry between you, and you're trying to figure out, are they malicious or are they incompetent, and who do you trust? And I think it just kind of blows people's minds. Um, but this is literally actually what's happening. Like, and this is we'll get into the pitch jam here, but it's like if the defender has some amount of you know skill, attention, money, power, and if I'm gonna change direction, I want people to see how that happened and also to have a chance to contribute. Wait, is this a movie?
Yeah. So, I was just thinking because of your mentioning, we're playing Blood on the Clock Tower, and the game originally comes from the game Werewolf.
Right.
And there's this great movie from Martin Scorsese that recent one called Killers of the Flower Moon, and it is based on a true story actually.
Mm.
And there's a great line in the story or a great phrase that says, "There are wolves among us. Can you see them?"
Mm-hmm.
But the movie is at a child's book with some wolves, and so it might fly over the audience that actually the movie is speaking to directly to the audience and breaking the fourth wall and saying, "There are bad actors out in the world too, and you should be aware that they're hiding." I think actually Martin Scorsese was trying to like indicate this to us. So if
This is
anyone's
beautiful.
curious to follow this thread, I recommend going that movie and looking at that moment in the movie
Maybe we'll host a
specifically.
movie night for this. No, because this is real. I mean, and actually one of the things I admire, I like really glad Bottom Clock Tower is doing is that they have a category of like incompetent, which is like the drunk.
The drum.
Right, and this is really important because actually to me it solves a big problem, which is like you find the malicious a bad actor, you call him out, and he's like, no, I'm not a bad actor. I'm genuinely trying to help you, and now you have good actors fighting, and but we're like, wait, guys, there's another category of bad actor, which is incompetent. You can be drunk and you don't realize it. It's just it.
Right. It helps distinguish intentional from unintentional bad actors.
Yes, which to me, this is actually one of like the cruxes of my whole theory because in a hostile environment, like one of the things that's like impossible to sort of prove, there's no way to really prove um, incompetence versus malice. Like an incompetent actor could, no, sorry, a malicious actor could pretend to be incompetent.
That's true. I would also interestingly argue that in the limit, all bad actors are incompetent
Right, right. Which
because
actually, well,
if they were competent, like truly competent, then they would realize that being a bad actor is a sort of incompetence.
well,
Because
but this, so to actually you'd appreciate, like I got this from like think about hostile actors in this like mimetics game, blah blah
yeah,
blah. But I equate them. I'm like the way you sort of fix that is you equate them, and then I'm like it doesn't actually matter to me how you got here, but like you're currently doing something that's like hurting you in the limit, and either I then that's purely a question of like if I expose you to information, do you update? And if not, then I need to like take an action to limit your action. This is the same calculation. It doesn't actually matter if you're malicious or incompetent. If you're unable to update, then I take like that's it. Those are kind of the sequence. Those are the right sequence of actions.
I would actually break this down into more like unbundle it further and say like not all incompetent people are like harmful fully, right? Like if you
Well,
think of like a puppy and a baby, they're incompetent in some sense, but they're not really harmful. So
this specifically applies when like the agent is in power and taking actions that cause me harm.
right, because I don't want like I don't want people to see this given it's recorded and for them to feel like
Oh yeah, yeah, like this part.
some people or all people who are incompetent are bad, you know?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
I think like what we really want is to identify who's causing harm, and it doesn't matter why you're causing harm.
Right.
If you're incompetent, then we have to like contain that harm and hopefully stop it.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
it. Yeah, yeah. We're aligned here. Nice. Look at this alignment happening in real time.
I
Real time alignment.
mean, but we were aligned on this.
No,
We're
I
doing
know.
this for the sake of the audience.
Which okay, but this but by the way, but we'll get to like what I don't like to like have this is the what I like with Joshua. Like
Yeah.
it's not like we figure it out and then we have the podcast about it. Like it is our call where we catch up and we learn things. So
Yeah, that's
you do get to see it in real time, and I want to do that with you. So and because that moment of like you can't fake the moment of learning, um, and I don't want
oh
to
yeah,
fake it. Yeah,
I think that's actually great. Yeah, that we people need role models or they need to like have some model to model, no? And we learn by ingesting good data. So if we can see other people learning and actually learning live in a world where everyone
yeah,
wants to like used to change their mind, that's very healthy.
yeah. No, and this is also why like I want direction updates. I can tell you why this doesn't happen. Like um,
Hmm.
if you as a person in power with resources etc do this in public, that's actually very vulnerable. Why? Because it shows the algorithm for how to change your mind. It shows which means like someone else now, malicious actor potentially, can see what signals you look for and then like kind of fake those signals and then kind of capture your mind. Okay.
Hmm.
So, but I have a solution for that, which is
Go ahead, go ahead. Yeah.
it's just like I'm basically as transparent as I can possibly be because bad actors can and will capture my mind, but then the good actors can also see that and they step up and capture in the other direction, and I'm just kind of holding down the fort in the meantime. One way to describe it is I told this to Drake. Remember Drake, Ithaca friend.
Yeah.
I told them imagine what we did was you put up a little whiteboard in the middle of the town. It just said like just blank. You can do anything. And
Mhm.
then some people would think like, oh, don't do that because then people can like draw inappropriate things.
Mhm.
I don't know. And I was like, that's also true, but it's just as easy. It's just as easy to do to draw something bad as it is to draw something good, or like to erase the bad and draw something good. And uh, I'm relying on there being more good, like empowering. Yeah,
Right, right. I mean, I can play the devil's advocate here. I don't know if you watch, but if the good actors are spending a lot of time cleaning the whiteboard, that's not the best way they could be spending their time. Although, but I do agree. I do
I
agree that if you are open, then both bad and good actors can help and attack you. And hopefully, if the good actors are more competent or there's more of them, then that should help. I think a complementary strategy to make sure your cognitive security isn't breachable, given the vulnerability of this approach, is most people are vulnerable to this approach because they're exposing their faulty cognitive security, right? And so if you expose yourself and your faulty cognitive security, then people know where to attack. But if your cognitive security is very robust, then it doesn't matter if you expose it. Like they can't really do anything about it,
I
right?
think
So as yeah, go ahead.
yeah. There's a few points here. There's the wasting good actors' time cleaning up. You also said cogsec. If it's already good, then transparency doesn't hurt. Um, but there's also like kind of this like there's another point of if the good actors. I mean, if anyone should know the flaws of the leader, it should be the good actors.
Mhm.
Like they should know that they should know what the cogsec, you know, because then they can like fortify against that, or they can make up for that, or they can just be like, wait, well we have another leader who doesn't have this problem, and then if the leader is aligned, he would be like, oh great, finally, I can let go of this burden of responsibility and give it to someone who doesn't have the flaw, and we all are happier.
Right.
So I believe this strongly. Like I think your friends should know, your allies should know your flaws, if you trust them.
Well, the good actors, they should all know that we're all finite beings and therefore we're all imperfect. So if we're able to know each other's strengths and weaknesses, then we can cooperate better
Right,
and
right,
delegate
right.
it.
Um,
So I agree with you.
but this is what I do. Like it's like I don't know. We talked about a canary in the coal mine with
Mhm.
Joshua here, where I'm like defender kind of walks in. Like if somebody's yeah, if say like if somebody's trying to. This is my strategy when I play Blood on the Clock Tower too. It's like I'll just okay.
Does it
Here's
work?
well.
I'm
Uh,
just curious. Like, is this? Yeah, go
it
ahead.
works in the limit. It works if people cooperate. I actually think it kind of breaks the game. And actually, Drake sort of explained this a little bit also, like this like radical transparency. But
Interesting.
if you just like it doesn't work. It doesn't necessarily mean I always win, but it means my team. Actually, okay. Here's the weird part.
Mhm.
This strategy means the good guys. It helps the good guys always. If you're on the bad team, it hurts you. Even if you're on the good team, it possibly hurts you. It's almost like kind of a sacrificial um, thing. But if you cooperate with everyone, and
Mhm.
whoever intends you harm becomes visible, uh,
Mhm.
I think that's pretty much it. Like you basically like you choose to cooperate in order to either find the people who are willing to cooperate or in order to reveal who is willing to sort of backstab. Um,
I'm curious, like if tonight you can try this and try to like, as a scientist, write down all the examples of where it works and where it doesn't, or if it always seems to work, or in what ways, so that we can like yeah, just because you're in a sense you're test running experimentally. This hypothesis is the Quokka strategy,
But I
the
mean, but
optimal
it
one.
but like I mean, I think another friend in Seattle or SF asked me this question. I was like, well, obviously it works because he's like, where's your data? And I was like, what data? All you need is like, if you are Like if you have an actor and you're not sure if you should trust him or not, if you have someone who's willing to just kind of jump in there and you can observe what happens, um, like the quokka either returns. You send the quokka out, and the quokka either returns with the reward, like
Mhm.
gets paid, gets the thing, which you use, or the quokka gets killed. The quokka does not return. In which case you're like, okay, I know that guy's willing to kill my quokka. That's it. Like you can't like. There's no
Okay,
defense
in
against
the
it.
in the example of the blood on the clock tower, like what? How did this? Your like from your experience,
I
how
mean,
did that help the?
well, I think it wasn't helping because others weren't like watching for it. But the quokka only works if others know to use it. So again, you like you
So you're saying most people need to be quokkas, or at least there's some proportion that needs to be quokkas for this to actually work every time, or most of the
someone
time.
needs to watch to observe the quokka.
Okay. So in the example of blowing the clock tower, the observer is another player, or like externally.
That would be another player. Like you would know that like I'm playing this role, and so you know that I'm gonna just cooperate, and then you
Okay.
would just it's like someone you can it's a player you can sacrifice basically to get information.
Okay.
It's obviously an
I guess
expensive thing.
like if let's imagine everyone says they want to be the quokka, right? Um, when when the game comes around and someone is the werewolf, do they just say I'm the werewolf and then I guess is this where you're saying it breaks the game essentially
Yes,
because the game
that
is for
right because
it's
then
enforced.
because the quokka wants to just have the good guys win. So if the quokka is the bad guy, and then the quokka's like, "Hey guys, I'm the bad guy. Kill me,"
Right.
because the quokka's willing to die for the good team, no matter what the good team. Yeah,
No, okay, this is an interesting example of essentially if I agree
I mean,
it's an example of how the rules that people believe that they have to play by enforces actually a lot of the outcomes. And a lot of like alignment work is just about realizing the hidden rules that we're all playing by
I'm
and
glad
choose
you caught on to that because I think the quokka I've actually defined it like it's supposed to be the most aligned
so
entity.
in a way like Jesus Christ was a quokka,
Yeah,
right?
no, actually, I was just gonna say that. Like that. Yes, yes.
He
That's
literally sacrificed himself for all
yes,
of us. That's the
yes,
whole idea.
yes,
And
yes,
because he sacrificed himself, he was able to reveal that actually everyone else was not aligned enough because nobody saved him.
yes.
If anyone else was aligned enough, they would have stopped this. Or if people
Which
were not
okay,
like
by the way, can I now that we brought this up, I was worried this was going off not useful tangent, but this is very important because it takes us to computational theology. Because
that.
I want to ask you this question. I've been wanting to ask you this question for a while, which is as we compute like the story of Jesus here. Um, I like how you described it. You were like, what happens at the end is he reveals the other guys were not aligned because they failed to help him. Um,
Yeah. And
can
they succeeded in like harming the Quokka.
right. So I'm actually the quokka. I'm telling you, the quokka's a test. Like you release the quokkas in an environment is like a kind of an alignment test. Um,
Question
so
is like, can we have like Uber Quokkas? Quokkas that don't die, right? Like,
well, my the way I think you would do it is okay. This is
the
this.
the most aligned thing includes not dying yourself. Like,
I
if you
know.
can end yourself,
So,
then you're in the north.
so
Yeah.
I'm really happy because again this is the computational theology thing, and I'm like theology x sociology is where things get like really interesting here. Um, but
Also, like connecting to Axelrod's like the different game theoretic
yeah,
model test he was running, right? And in
oh
that example, Quokkas actually are not a winning strategy, but I think we can reveal why that is. But go ahead.
well, but I basically just want to draw this point or make this point about can now that we understand these patterns and have these sort of ways of testing, um, can I'm thinking about real world tests. I'm thinking about um,
Mhm.
like people are being tested morally all the time, and
Yeah.
I'm imagining sort of this world or this game, and this is what I kept telling you about. Like, oh, we should do like alignment, applied alignment services, which because this is what I really wanted. I wanted to basically go around and like spot these dynamics and just like explain them, but also explain them in this like very pro-social way. I don't know if you saw. Did you see this 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 pinned tweet about leaking information?
Mm, all right.
This is basically me saying like, give me anonymous information that you want to leak, but don't are afraid of leaking it yourself.
Right, 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 right.
And I'm I'm doing something very new here, but kind of particular about. Um, I don't want to go around calling out that guy did a bad thing, get him.
Mhm.
But there's something like more sort of northern here, more pro-social here, which is where do I say this? Yeah, um, I can describe the behavior at a level of resolution where it doesn't, again, scapegoat or point to a specific person or company, but it explains it very clearly so that if you're in that situation, you know who's right and who's wrong and what the right thing to do is.
Right, right. And it's almost like the resolution is an encryption system, but and
Yes, yes, it is.
and
In fact, yeah,
a lot of fiction works this way, right? Like the science fiction and fantasy, they talk about real problems without naming the actual names, and then they spread the culture and inspire people.
right. But here's the funny
Um,
thing. Like I remember, I showed you my thing about how I didn't used to know poetry.
yeah.
I finally figured it out before this call. Um, but I almost need to dumb this down just one more level because I'd read these stories, these fiction, I'd be like, wow, that's crazy, bro, and then go on the rest of my life. And then one day I realized that it applies, and it like blew my mind, and I couldn't stop thinking about how much like how to decode the fiction and then use it in the real world. Um, and I was just obsessed with it forever. And it just like think about how long it took me to figure that out. And like I'm not a dumb person, even though I role play as one. Um, you know, I'm like
Well, that's because even if you're smart, like you can be ignorant, right? Like the smartest person on the planet might not know any Chinese. So um,
yeah, that's a good
this,
point.
this
Well, so this is but this is like I was like okay, you can like a lot of what I'm doing on Twitter. I don't know if you said it before or after we started recording, but I
mm,
see it as poetry. I see it as I'm like, um, it's 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 art, but it's like dumbed down poetry. It's telling stories, and then people don't like get it, and then like I sort of explicit make it a little more explicit, and
mm.
and there's a reason that I don't think I can explain it on this call. I think you get it. I think I can explain another time. Like why?
There's like there's a meta dynamic. Like you expect people to not to need to be like intrigued in some way or confused, and then through that interaction, they're eased into the ideas.
Like it can't be too high level because then they just don't get it, and it can't be too explicit. Um, I'm not the argument of why that can't work. I mean, I have an essay on it, which we can, but it's a big idea, which I don't. It's a little tangential right now. But I'm basically saying like this is the technique, and a lot of fiction already does it, but some fiction is still too like it takes a lot of work to decode, and I can give people like a step ladder up that ladder to getting it.
Right, right, right. So yeah, you're acting like the bridge between these two. And I had another essay that I was going to reread recently, by Peter Thiel actually on this called the Straussian moment, and how like maybe I should put it in the notes, the Straussian moment, and it is a post 9/11 essay, 30 pages, um, about how a lot of the elites like they have to speak esoterically and in ways that are sort of hard to get at because that gives them protection from a lot of the bad actors or noise out there. But that they write it at a certain level that isn't it's not hidden, right? Like it's not secret, it's out in the open. But it's written in such a way that it will reach the right people. Um, and so
Yeah, this is
maybe
this is basically what I'm getting at.
you're creating like a bridge right between the esoterics and the non-esoterics, but so that
Yeah,
more people can get that information that we need out there
yes,
while still preserving that protection.
that's exactly it. So it's like you broadcast it in a way that you want like the right people to get it, but then half of them don't get it, even though they should get it. And I'm like, okay, here's what
Yeah.
you're missing. Let me give you a little another esoteric thing, but yeah, but it's easier for you to get because I understand your mind, and hence the ABU thing, hence the ABU thing,
And
where yeah,
I think the interesting thing that you're doing here is that there are structures throughout history that have realized that this is necessary many times to protect people who know the truth that might be in danger if people who wanted to suppress them or good actors. And that structure is just having like tiers. You know, in some kind of
right.
religion, you might
Well, that's what I was
move up
gonna. Do you see?
and secret societies, but now we have the internet, right? And so we're like figuring out what is the layer ladder on the internet that we can create. Um,
This is the whole game, and this is what the. I mean, I'm
mhm,
pulling up Adam Mastroni's. He's like trying to figure out like why religion is so successful in this essay, and he talks about like
mhm,
kind of ladder structure where like the people
mhm.
at the very top, deep in the esoteric thing, have a lot to learn, discover, and then, but the people at the very bottom, that's a very simple story. It's still true.
Yeah.
It's just a lower resolution version of the thing. Um, there's something else I was gonna say. I forgot. But this is the work. This is the work we're doing here, and so this is. Oh, and I think I even said in my anonymous thing where I'm like, this is the empirical part of it. I said like, don't blow the whistle, blow. Don't just be a whistleblower. You can blow a soft whistle, um, and then we can all see if because there's also a chance like we're wrong about what's good and evil here. If we're
Right.
right, it should make things better. If it doesn't make things better, then we can look at why.
Well, this is where empirical, I guess, morality or ethics comes in, where
Right.
we have a theory and we need to keep testing it and keep iterating and make sure we're calculating correctly. All these things need to still happen, even if we have the theory or a good or better theory. It still needs development and it still needs constant iterative
And
testing.
execution, yeah, there's always like execution failure. Like you could have the right theory, but still like you just did it
Yeah,
wrong.
like you might know physics, but can you build a rocket that doesn't blow up?
Right.
It's very hard.
It's a different thing.
These
Yeah.
are need the physics first before you can build the rocket. So we're just at a really early stage, and we're one of the ways I see it is that we're trying to speed run the entire tech tree and science tree that has been that has taken centuries for science and physics and rocket science and all these things to happen, but for morality and ethics, because those things are still stuck in a
Right.
pre-Newtonian stage. Like you
Well,
could say
well,
Bentham
but
utilitarianism was
can I tell
close.
you? So this is what I want also, and I want to segue into the pitch jam in a second here, but um, like you're you're trying to sort of push frontier up here, in theory towards,
Mhm.
and I'm in the bottom. I'm just trying to define. All I need to do is define two things: define the starting point, the correct
Mhm.
foundation, and sort of the North Star, like what direction we're going, which is all you need to define a vector, I guess. Direction.
Mhm.
Um, like there's an exercise in field building here, and I'm the guy. I love studying fields. Like it's hard to find a field that needs to start that hasn't started. I mean, actually, it's not that hard to find these days. There are a bunch, um, but in principle, you don't have that every day.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. Well, I mean, in principle, that's interesting. I wonder if that principle is just a historical artifact. Now, I mean, because if you, not everyone, but a lot of people are aware of the graph, which is like time and GDP, and basically in the last 1,000 years, it looks like a hockey stick. Now, this is true for GDP, but it's also true for compute. It's true now for um, computations per second or per unit energy with Moore's law, and now it's happening with also, I guess, information that's been created, like the amount of information recorded throughout history had these step jumps when the printing press and the books were started to be reproduced, and now with the internet and now with AI generation. And so I wonder if scientific fields had a slow rate because of those facts, and now that we're entering this exponential on all these other ones that I mentioned, that we're just going to have a Cambrian explosion of everything, including fields.
I actually think,
Um,
and because I really think this is Rio. Where is it? Like I think fields are more like companies or industries or like startups. Um, so
they're like the ground for those.
okay,
Like if you imagine a pyramid, then those come out of the source. Up in the supply chain of reality, fields are higher in the chain and
well, but
companies.
then they also have like a life cycle. Like I think people just forget that like I think this is real. Like I think a field begin like
You go ahead.
a field begins and then people get together and they solve the problems and then once they solve the problems like now you have to figure out what to do next. Um, like I don't know. I really like this image. I don't know if you've seen. This is kind of big in one of my metaphors. Have you seen this? Oh, come on. This one.
Oh yeah, I saw it on your timeline.
So this and like this also kind of the same for me, or like related, in the sense of like to me this is like the beginning of a new field where like you find like these different data points that don't connect and then you try to get closer and closer and you figure out how they connect and once you figure out how they connect you get this like very small unified
Mm-mm.
this is the answer, and you can
Mm.
use that to like generate all the point like before you had to get a really hard time like connecting all these different dots and trying to interpolate between them, but once you have like the model underneath it can it's much smaller.
So I
Yeah.
think interestingly here that some fields die out, but not all of them. Like if you look at even at the image that we have here with these different roots at the bottom or different branches,
Yeah,
there are some branches that are still alive, and those still come out from the beginning. I think
I agree with
the
that.
fe- the, the life cycle, it's not like all the fields have the same life cycle.
Yes,
But essentially, they die out if they had wrong assumptions, for example, or
really.
if they were like compressing a function that wasn't actually like the right function to compress or something like this.
Right. So
Um,
been
so
it could have been a transitionary step or it could have been like the root trunk. Yes.
yeah, like for example, I think a lot of uh, alchemy was a field that had a life cycle that transformed into chemistry, right?
Right.
But things like early mathematics is still around. Like
Right.
the zeros and ones, they still exist, but within the field, we didn't really use things like graphical notation before. I think it was
Descartes.
Descartes exactly. and so on and so on and so forth. Like actually, in ancient Greece, they would use more geometric ways as opposed to notated ways of talking about mathematical concepts. So I guess parts of the field died out,
No, I agree. I
or
agree. I agree with this.
yeah, they branched out. Yeah.
I agree, and there's the like, more fundamental things, or like more like, and it's like it's an evolutionary process almost. And like, yeah, if it was, um,
But I think essentially some fields kind of become close to immortal, or at least they live much longer. The closer they are to being true and useful, and all these kind of things.
yeah, I think a big concept here. I'm sure it's big for you too. Is like eternal, immortal knowledge, information. Like what, like to me also like theology and calculus. Like that's why theology and calculus to me are like
Yeah, they'll connect. We're literally defining fields right now as we speak in
it's
this
great.
pod.
I love it. Okay, so this is a good segue into like the. Have you heard this? The meat and if I say that the meat and potatoes
Yeah.
as a metaphor,
Oh wait.
does that make sense? Well, you can't just drop that.
Yeah.
Are you gonna? It's just such the teaser for next time, for a future
It's a
time.
teaser, but I'll just say like, what if we just look at this? If we follow the arc we're seeing here of all of things unifying, eventually, like there needs to be some kind of name for a unified field of all fields. But anyways,
I like
um,
the
tell me about
unified.
or unification of everything, really, not even just fields, but
Yeah, no, I'm with
yeah.
you. That's what I'm looking for. Um, all right, rubber meets the road here. Some next steps for next week because I think it might be really happening.
Mhm.
This pitch jam.
Okay.
Okay, and let's debate this. And feel free to tell me it's a terrible idea. Shut it all down. Pull the plug. Kill it. Uh,
I mean, I don't think it'll be a terrible idea, but let's see.
um, okay, well, this is and like Jessica Friday might be helping here, which is exciting. Do you know her?
Yeah, I think I do. She has like a Substack now.
She got
Also,
Substack,
the
and she's also got a great story. Um,
story.
I mean, I think she was homeless for a while,
Yeah.
and then but then it was just like doing all this work, just like very like kind of game B aligned, and then I mean it's a tough situation. Again, I don't know like all the details, but she's just been very persistent and optimistic, and has like inspired and helped a ton of people. She had a tweet where she was like saying that I was inspiring to her and helpful, and I was like, that's crazy. I'm just kind of I feel like
She
I'm
was-
doing a tenth of what she's doing.
yeah, no, I mean she had to bootstrap herself from a much harder
Yeah,
spot.
yeah. I'm just like I'm if anything like I'm playing on easy mode, and like I don't know like she's inspiring me, and I did tell her this, and I hope she like believes me because I don't know I just and I told her it'd be an honor to like sort of work with her, and I'm like I haven't been DMing you because I'm like I don't want to waste your time, and she's like that's crazy, um, but um, but maybe we'll I mean we're she's in the Ori Discord now, and we might be kind of she might be helping with this, and I think
Yeah,
that'd be great. Okay.
Caroline, she's
Okay, so here's the point. Some this I think this what I'm describing here is something we will need at at all scales. Even if we
mm,
had if you had like, a million, 100 million, if you had literally all the money in the world, um, either way, you still need the phone. You still need to know out of all the people, human beings in the world, uh, who's doing what, who needs what, for what purpose. And then if you find out that somebody has a need to do a specific thing that you need to have done, then you can give them resources slash endorse them. Yeah, I think that.
I I mean I agree. But I find it sort of not I don't know if funny, but it maybe just yeah
I mean,
the
there's a
fact that
but
villages did. Like everyone knew what everyone was doing. They all had a role. Now we live in this globalized internet world, and so we need that infrastructure scale
yes,
that
yes,
we
we do.
can operate. Because we have a historical bandwidth of we can keep track of 40 people in our village,
Right.
but now it's like everything's becoming so complicated that we need better systems. So yeah, I like where this is going.
Okay, great. So, because and the reason there's a practical reason why I'm doing this right now, which is that there's a bunch of people and a bunch of projects that have come to me that need money,
Mm,
and I have some amount of money that I can give, personal money, and maybe more will come in. We'll see. But I mean, most of them are like I'm helping them pitch, including you, right? Okay. And on the flip side, there's also people who like have money and they want to deliver, but they don't have the people that they need. And I'm like, guys, why don't we just take a step back here and look at this? And this is actually what we would be doing if we were a big company. Like if you're a big company and you're like everyone just calm down. Let's just look at the budget we have and let's look at who's doing what, and let's figure out what needs to go where, and then we all take a step. Um,
yeah. I mean, this is where your big open source management experience comes in.
yeah, and also like this, we used to do this all the time in like game jams. Like there's a popular YouTuber called Game Maker's Toolkit, and he'll make a he made I think he does this annually now or used to. But he makes these game
Mm,
jams, and like 20,000 people sort of submit projects for it, all because and there's no money involved here. They all just do it because they want the chance to be reviewed by him. He reviews the top 20 games the community votes on,
mm,
and that's sort of worth his attention is sort of worth all that effort. People come together, people do this thing, um, and people find it brings people together. And also Jessica's thing. I mean, one of her things I think is like connecting people and then growing this economy, this ecosystem. Um, so yeah, I mean, I don't know if you read this. Do you want to just like kind of read? This is how my
which
first. Yeah,
out loud for those who are listening on with their headphones on.
you want me to
Okay,
read it?
pitch March
Yeah.
2 through 9. Submit a pitch for your dream project for a company you're trying to start, or for a research proposal you want to work on. Get feedback. Or if your pitch is really good, resources and collaborators. Review others, give back feedback, help the best things surface, funnel resources and attentions towards them. This is meant to be an antidote to the chaotic environment of investor pitches. This frenzy of fraud and FOMO. I have money I want to give to projects that will help us all, but I want to make sure I'm giving it to the right people, especially when many projects aren't actually bottlenecked on money, but on access to the right people and networks. I am sure others with money want the same thing too. Let's help them help us. I mean, I think this would be a good way to, yeah, surface what people want to do and what they believe is important to do. And if we can get attention to that and resources, I don't see how this is a bad thing.
Well, and so
This sounds,
and very specifically, it's like the reason I need it, and even if like only 5 people apply, that's still
yeah.
going to be a big win. This is how I design all my work. It's bootstrappable. Okay, what's going to happen is now, like okay, I have a bunch of these again these different people who you know. I'm giving them each individual advice, and I'm like, and I but I'm also like running around behind the scenes telling everyone else about what I'm telling them, and I'm like, this is silly. Why? We could all just like all of you just kind of come put your stuff together and look at it together, because it's all helpful to the other guys, because
Mhm.
like it's very simple. Because like some people are like, oh, I need to do X Y Z, and I'm like, okay, but X Y Z needs this other thing first. So how are you gonna do this thing without that other thing? And they're like, well, I'll also do that too, but I need to get this funding first, or I need to get this piece first. And I'm like, okay, well, can we just figure out like what the right order of operation? Oh, you know what? Okay, here's the silly thing. This is what I was trying to tell you about like Sam, Sam's research
Mhm.
direction, but also
Mhm.
it applies to all these other people, which is this reward signal thing. So a lot of people in the world know what needs to be done, okay, but they don't have the money and resources. The people who have the money and
Right.
resources think certain things need to be done. So what do? You do this like Trojan horse thing. You say I'm gonna do XYZ because that's what the people with money want, but really you're using it as a Trojan horse to do the real thing that needs to be done because that's the thing that's going to actually lead to the value or to the reward or to growing the pie, etc. And and it's
This is what Sa- Sam in his observer theory language would call computational debt, right? Instead of
mm,
being straight, you're adding computational debt with the Trojan horses because
yes,
uh, you might be getting where you want to get, like your it's more costly to the person instead of just being honest about it.
it's like a
And also to
longer
the
route. Yeah,
they there's more compute and more energy required to handle these things as opposed to just being straight and
right,
more honest. And
right. But the thing is, if you're just straight, you don't get the resources in our current world. Um, and
well, I mean, currently, I guess, right?
right, which is yeah, what I'm here to fix. And I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
I've built enough trust from all these different pieces that I can. Like I think that okay. By the way, and the reason I'm going to do this is because
Mhm.
again, I have some amount of money, but I also have what I have more is trust and like attention. And I think if I say here's what needs to be funded right now in this order,
Yeah.
I think it will get money. But I'm like, okay, what is that order? I don't know. Can you guys help me figure that out? And then I want to hear, almost like again playing kind of a blood on the clock tower game, where I'm like, I want to hear from each of you, and if you think I'm gonna say, oh, I actually think this project is the one, but before we make the decision, I want other people to say, wait, no, Defender, what the fuck? Do you not realize this? This is clearly a bad idea. And I'm like,
Mhm.
oh, okay, cool. I didn't know that. Thanks for letting me know, and we'll keep doing that. Um, like actually change directions in real time.
Yeah, I
And
mean,
yeah.
this works because as long as your concept is robust, as we were saying,
Well, but
any
hold on,
feedback
hold on. There's something even
will
better
help.
here. I
Okay, go
what
ahead.
because what I want this to become a template. You know how like this kind of essay, this thing I have here is kind of cheeky because you know what I say about like I'm sure others with money want the same thing too. This is actually a hostile attack. I don't know if you read it that way.
Uh, no, but I mean, it is in a way subversive.
Yes, because I'm saying like you guys, I'm like I'm saying this is the good way to distribute resources, and I'm sure in my heart that the people who have more resources than me, I'm sure they also want to give it to the right people. So I'm
Yeah.
basically setting up this like incompetent or malicious thing. Like if I'm not wrong about this method, if it actually works, then the people who would not use it, I'm basically calling them out here. Um, so because of what
I
I
mean, but the good thing is,
yeah.
if it actually does work, it should then spread because
Exactly, exactly,
everyone wants this,
exactly.
like
This is what I want. This is what I want. And in fact, by the way, I'll tell you something secret here. You want to hear a secret? This is the first time it's ever, and this is still recording. Like it may never go live, so we can keep this secret forever, I guess. But someone emailed me saying he's having a call with Analog. Analog Group is a funder,
Yeah.
and that he might get a chance for them to invest in his research. And he was emailing me to ask like, how much did they give you? Because
Right.
he wants to know like how much should he ask for. And there's kind of this like game of like you don't want to okay, it's like this negotiating game. There's information asymmetry here,
Yeah.
and my thing is I'm like I don't like I think there's this like I think I want all investors to like stop just throwing their money around here. When I made Flash games, we had this thing called Last Call, which I thought was great. Like before somebody
What?
like what
Go ahead. I don't know this term.
before somebody it was just like you get this bidding war between different sponsors for a video game, and before the developer picked an offer, they could say, "Hey, last call, I'm about to accept this offer. Does anyone want to make a counter offer?" Um, I think there's like a similar thing here. Okay, you know what it's like when you get married, you have this chance where someone says,
Yeah.
It's the same thing. It's like a last call. It's like anyone know a reason why they shouldn't be married? Going once, going twice. Last call for this human. Uh, so there's the same thing here. Like right now, a lot of investors kind of I think there's a lot of fraud and FOMO, and I think that's really bad for everyone because um, everyone wants to invest in the thing before the other guy invests in the thing. People can kind of sneak around. People are like, don't publish your thing, otherwise you might get a better deal. Which again is it's dumb. It's bad for I think.
Mhm.
Uh, so before you invest in a thing, if it's actually a fraud or a scam, you should tell people. And like if you miss out on the opportunity because someone else swooped in with a better offer, I mean that's the risk we take. It's actually fine. The important thing is that the good thing gets made with the right people,
Mhm.
and that's it. If there's fraud and if someone's swooping in, stealing ideas, etc., I also want to see that. Um,
I guess there's like some attack surface here where, like you said, the person who swoops in who has asymmetric information because they're not revealing their position. In the short run, I guess they can use that information you gave out to make a better offer, get the resources, and actually the better thing does not necessarily get funded. This is complicated.
Well, but I think we now have enough of like a lighthouse, enough of like an open community. I think we can. I think there's some kind of tipping point here of like a critical mass here, and then
Yeah,
like
I think the point is actually that I think there's actually more resources that people realize it. But both things can get funded, and if someone some person funds the counter offer, um, doesn't stop anyone else from choosing to fund. I think that's
that's what I
absolutely
mean. Like let's say Analog here is about to fund this guy, and this guy writes about it publicly, and then Oceanisi or like I don't know Peter Thiel or whoever comes in, swoops, and give him 10x what Analog's gonna give him. And now Analog's
yeah
lost out on this guy, even though Analog found him. Now, well, why does Analog care? The reason Analog cares is because they want to show that they are competent investors who can find people who, like the whole, investors win when they can recognize value early. That's the whole point.
yeah
But remember, this public trust network will guarantee that. Like everyone will know that Analog found them first, and then they got scooped by Peter Thiel. Like it's still the case that
Mhm.
like Analog found it first. Like they still get that credit, they still get that status, they still get that, even though they didn't get to like you know invest in thing. And if the actors aligned, he would say like, oh, actually, Analog was the first one who sort of made me this offer, and because of that offer, Peter Thiel made this counter. And then Peter Thiel might even say like, okay, guys, yes, I saw it from Analog first, and I really wanted it, and thank you Analog for giving it to me, but it's mine. And they're like, okay, and then actually everything's fine here. Like, it's actually all working as intended. It's just that if people release their piece of the pie, they're like clutching onto the pie gets bigger for everyone. Because now Analog has a
yeah
bunch of like more credit, more status, and the more people want to apply to Analog, um, or yeah. So okay, but the important part is I want people like you and me. Like the important thing is like, you know, you're gonna see there's gonna be a bunch of these pitches, and then
yes
you could just kind of like either write a sentence on each or just like take a couple and be like this is nice but not the highest priority. This is the highest priority for these reasons. Um, and I don't know. I just think this can start to like move the whole industry, move the all. Like I think we can if we do this right, we can have this very big voice in allocating resources and how they should be allocated. And everyone's going to look at this and be like, wait, why don't we all just do this? This is way nicer than like staying up all night, refreshing Twitter, like sort of back channel deals, like trying to figure out who's talking to who. Um, and also the individual people who like submit pitches and they don't get responses and they're like, why? What did we do wrong? Is my pitch bad? Is my idea bad? Or did I just not explain it well? Is like
I,
people genuinely want to know if the thing is good or not. Like, should I be working on this or should I get another job? Like, what's like? Can someone just
but
give me honest feedback?
I think that's actually the component that's most important about this pitch jam idea is the the actual giving of good, honest feedback.
Yeah.
Because you can imagine that things like Kickstarter or Manifund are essentially open, continuous pitch jams where anyone can start a
Right.
Kickstarter and say, "Oh, I have this thing I want to get funding for," and in a sense, it's already doing the first points here.
Right.
But the issue is that they might not get any attention and they might not get good feedback.
Yep.
And if we can provide a culture or a ritual or like some sort of system that gives people honest, good feedback, then they can start to iterate faster. And maybe their first pitch gets nowhere, but they get good feedback, even regardless. And
I think this
so
is big. This is it, and I think you like this would also give you a surface area of like doing the work you're going to do anyway, which is describe what needs to happen in this sort of reality engine thing.
Mhm.
But also doubles as like giving like these are people who are gonna like change like do take action based on this feedback. I don't think you have to read like there could be a ton of the submissions, you have to read them all. Like I think someone like me and I think Jessica could go around sort of like here's our top five, and then someone like you looks at them and sort of reviews them. It could even be like on a call where like I pitch them to you and you sort of emote, which is how like the Game Maker's Toolkit YouTuber guy does it. Um, and actually, by the way, this could actually like just be it. Like the whole like imagine this monthly because my Mick when he saw this he was like this would be amazing. You should do it monthly, and this could actually be like how you move resources. You're like every month like people are like here's what the world needs, and you're like okay that guy I trust him on this project, and that one that's a really great idea, but he doesn't have the right team. But if he has the right team, if we can get Jonathan Blow on this, then I would, fund it. And then Jonathan Blow sees that, and he's like, okay, sure, I'll do it. And then we do it. And then it's just like that. That's the director of like the resources. Um, that's what I really want to see.
I like that as a yeah, like an event that happens every so often and produces feedback and creates this like network of positive some interactions and information.
Yeah, that's it.
Um,
That's it.
it's the stuff that's missing from again from Kickstarter and all these other places
Right.
because people, it's like if you imagine this like feedback loop, in all those platforms for the most part, the feedback loop starts with people actually pitching and creating their thing, and then it dies out. And I guess that is a form of honest feedback, the fact that nobody engages with it. But now we can create a culture where people always will get feedback, and hopefully we can actually build infrastructure and systems by
I
actually
think we can.
once we have
And
formalized access, we can even measure it in ways that allow it to scale. And so people, so this feedback loop doesn't have to just die with you didn't get attention. Now you can know why you didn't get
yes, yes,
attention.
which would
Very
yes.
continuing feedback and reducing like increasing the speed of the feedback loop for people to move up their trajectories. And yeah,
This
you
is
go
very,
ahead.
it's very at the heart of it. And I was gonna just bring in ABU, and like this is the point of it because it's like if you see a pitch and you love it, and you're like this is gonna change the world, and this is the right team, and in this case like this doesn't really super apply. But let's say it's like giving it a B because you're like endorsing it, or an A,
Mm.
it doesn't matter. And then but then I also do the same thing, and but then we pitch it widely after the jam, and then they fail to get money, and then we ask like okay why was it because we were wrong and we realize like oh actually there's something fundamentally wrong with this, or you learn something about again the people with resources and how they like sort of these Trojan horse thing. um, like we basically keep asking why until we get to the root cause. um, this is what's important to me about this. um, like do you understand that like I think the summary is like the feedback loops become easier to deliver. Like feedback is expensive. I don't know if
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But you can make it like cheaper. Okay, do you understand the notion of amortized cost?
Uh, I think she's playing for the audience also.
It's a computer science term where it means like if something, in this case, like feedback costs a lot of time and effort, or money, or
Mhm.
resources to give. If you distribute it over more people, then the cost is distributed. So um, what this means is instead of you getting feedback for your pitch, and like if instead of 1,000 students asking a teacher the same question in private and the teacher having to respond to 1,000 questions, the teacher can just respond to one question publicly, and that one cost then serves 1,000 students. So it's worth doing, even if it's not worth doing for a single student. So this is
Yeah.
the thing here. If the pitch is bad, there's something wrong with it. If a lot of people endorse it, then it's worth responding to. Like maybe what's his name, Paul Graham or whatever, YC Combinator, Mark Andreessen, etc. All these investors, if they see 1,000 people saying this should be funded with this team, this is going to change the world, lift all the boats, and they say no, then we all learn something from them or about them. And if we think they're all wrong, well, now we know where they stand. It's like, yeah.
Yeah, makes sense.
Cool. Okay. So I think I'm actually just going to do this. I mean, this is already kind of like the announcement that I think could work. I mean, Jessica's going to help with this.
Are you making it on too?
I think I like the idea of
Okay.
like announcing it on Monday because it's really not that much. Like from my perspective, you don't have to do a lot of work for it. You just take what you have and just put it up. It's a pitch. It's not even uh, like I mean, in your case, you already have some prototypes and stuff which you can submit, but it's actually an idea jam. Um,
Oh, I did participate once in an idea jam. It went well.
okay, good. Yeah, I mean, and I want to be like this, and it's gonna look like this. It's gonna have like how many people are joined. You can join it, and then you submit your thing, and then you can see there's like voting. Like Itch has these like voting mechanisms.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, all these have not started yet, um, but you can see all the results. Um, yeah, and you can like rank them. Like this, it's actually gonna be really, you can rank stuff on like the good idea with like the wrong team, or like good idea, good team, or like good idea, bad presentation. Like I don't know, we can kind of play with this. These are all submissions here. I think it looked pretty cute, and it's like here's what we want to fund.
Yeah, yeah. We should definitely try it. And I like this idea that there's all these different granularities of
Yeah, yeah.
things we're
I think you should
we're
help
giving.
me with this. Okay, I'll add you to this then. And I think yeah, your pitch should be in there. I mean, you should have multiple pitches. That's why I said like it could be like a specific project that will just take a month to do. It could be like a whole company which should like you work on for the next like 100 years of your life, or it could be a specific like sort of research question like Sam's kind of thing. Uh, Wait, are you still here?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I said only 100.
yeah. Only 100.
Have you
Okay.
heard of a thing called longevity escape velocity,
Oh
sir?
boy. We'll get there. Okay, I think that's it. Cause I
Yeah,
am
I think we.
I'm very curious. Like basically, like I'm like part of what I want to get out of you again is this like let's say you can describe something and it will happen. What would you describe right now? Cause I think I'm good at this part of like again
I,
this.
I like this because this is a lower stakes environment for our entire network that we believe in to start revealing things.
Right,
And
right, yeah,
ourselves, it's like even if you don't like if people don't get resources out of it in a literal sense, they will get feedback, which is a resource,
yes.
and they'll be out there, and so it's a good layup.
It's
And we'll be doing. Uh,
and I really want to design it so that it's not taking time out of your thing. Like it's already like you're already everyone. Because as far as I can tell, everyone's doing this. Everyone's working on pitches right now, and they're like trying to get it
yeah.
good. I'm like, okay, you're already doing this. Join here. Everyone else is doing this, and then put it out, and then give each other feedback. And
Part that I really like about this is that it's like it's like a friendlier, lower stakes environment to test your dreams and ideas.
yeah,
A lot
yeah,
of the pitches like overthink them a lot, and they work. They spend hours and hours preparing something, then they don't get the resources, so they feel bad. And it would be good. Or same thing with, I guess you could say, Kickstarters. People like
Mm-hmm.
put up a lot
Yep.
of effort there. It would be interesting if they could get if there was a place or a space where people could share ideas, getting honest feedback, and even a possibility of resources. Um,
No, exactly. And
yeah,
actually, this is, by the way, what I'm worried about with like Sam's next step, because he's like traveling in Switzerland to do this like pitch, this talk, and it's super high stakes. And I actually was trying, like, I have a cousin who works at Google. Yeah, she actually does like machine learning or AI stuff. And I was trying, but she's not on that in that lab. But I was trying to figure out like, hey, is there a lower stakes sort of like if he had a way, if we both of us had a way to sort of ABU with some people.
yeah, beta test before
Yeah,
going
beta,
to the
and
highest.
actually, it would actually save them like it would save everyone time. Like you don't, it's actually the thing where like for me, the real thing, instead of giving someone $100 million for a thing, you can give them, which is what TV shows do, right? A pilot. It's like, okay, let's do a
Mm,
pilot and see if it
yeah.
works well, and then you can have a lot more money if it works. Um, Lower the stakes and make a test. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, great. I'm feeling
It-
good.
it's
Um,
a pitch feedback jam, actually.
Wait, say that again.
Pitch feedback jam.
Pitch feedback, yeah, because the feedback is like I actually think this is the important part. Like, I'm modeling it after like Ludum Dare, which is one used to be the biggest game jam, the original game jam. Look at that. But where like Ludum Dare doesn't have official judges. The judges are everyone else. Like, and they have a specific system of how they do this. But it's like if you submitted a game, um, you give feedback. The more feedback you give to other games, the more your game gets feedback. And it's not a one-to-one exchange. It's not like if you give feedback to 20 people, those 20 people give you feedback. It's 20 other people, which
Okay.
which means that's what allows it to be like a bit objective in this, or like if you can go around giving everyone like really good feedback, but they're not necessarily going to reciprocate because they're not the people who are going to see it. Um,
Mm.
like it's like I review your thing. If I review your thing, then your thing gets put in a queue, so that then Jessica reviews your thing.
Oh, it's interesting. Do you think we could also scale this some way so that everyone who participates has to review? Although I guess that creates the incentives of giving bad reviews
Well,
quickly.
but here's the fun. No, but here's actually, and because this works with ABU kind of. If you Here's the fun part. If you submit something that's like good, but then you go around reviewing everyone else's bad because you want to win.
Yeah,
Now I
you
can
will
sit.
get like an Airbnb score for the next round,
Yeah,
for
I
the
mean,
next jam.
and also I can kind of see like if I see like Sun saying these things that are really good are actually really bad, I'm like, wait, that's weird. I don't. Why do you think that's bad? And then we start to play the blood on the clock tower thing. Um, so I think it gives you a signal either way. And because because the winners are not going to be just pure votes. I think the feedback exchange surfaces things, and then you look at that, and then like I here and whoever else is going to be judging will curate like
Mm.
who do I think, like what is my commentary, which is again what why the YouTuber thing worked well, because it was like it's not just a popular vote, it's what he thinks is interesting.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
yeah,
It's an authority. People look for feedback. Yeah.
yeah. I feel like this is good. We made covered a lot here. And I think, yeah, I don't know, man. I feel like we should have like weekly lectures of some kind. Um, Homework. I don't know. We'll get there. We just need to figure out the right order of things. Let me just wrap up here. I still
There's a
think,
lot.
yeah, I still think. I mean, I might just write this the North End
Uh-huh.
essay to explain because I've been using it a lot, but no one knows what it is, and I want people to know what it is so I can use it. Um, a bunch of people have been sending me like they're like computational theology. They're like, here, I wrote a paper. Can you look at it? I wrote this thing. Can you?
Interesting.
Which by the way, this is the kind of thing I want you to also be like privy of. But again, I don't want to waste your time. But it's like I want you to see my inbox, just in case.
Mhm. Hi, friend.
Wait, where is that? Yeah, this is
And give
Vivid
it,
Void is announcing an institute of some kind. No, it's exciting though. uh, this guy. I haven't read this. This is I don't know. Wait, do you have a system where you can give an LM an essay and it can tell you and it has access to all your notes, so it can tell you whether there's something in there that's useful to you?
No, but that's a good issue. We should add that to
Wait, but how? But
to the
like, wait, but I thought you have. Do you not currently like your cloud code? Like, it has access to your Obsidian, right? You can like ask it
um
questions.
sure, although I tend to like give it access to specific files
I
so that
see.
it's
I
not
see.
memory.
I'm
Although
surprised. See,
I mean,
I'm surprised with all your like LM, all your tokens you're like burning through. This is not something you have already. I would have thought you already had that.
well, I do like work. I say I do use the LMs to assess certain ideas, but I like keeping it clean, so I have like a
That's fine. Okay.
new one every time, right? New memory.
Um, there's like a million people I want you to at least be aware of or like have access to. This is the thing. Like, you don't need to like spend time getting to know everyone and trusting them. Uh, you can just know
Ah,
they're available to you. Like, okay,
that's interesting.
what's his name? Dario.
Amode.
It's a funny name, isn't it? Dario. What kind of name is that?
Yeah,
Dario.
it means Lord, the love of God or something like that.
Dario. Okay. Anyway, like Dario doesn't know everyone who works at Anthropic, but he can just kind
Yeah.
of sit there and be like, wait, I need to talk to someone who can do X, and then
He also barely tweets.
what?
He also barely tweets. Only eight
Yeah, that's
posts.
crazy. What the hell, man? You only have 8 posts. What are we
I
doing
feel
here?
I feel I feel seen. This is why I stopped posting in 2023.
But he writes a lot of essays internally, which is what I like want you to do. Except our internal,
I write about it even more internally on Obsidian.
but our internal is sort of external because our well, who we speak to is the people of planet Earth, and those are the
Well,
people in our corporation.
so we have like dual strategies. I feel like you are the PR, sort of the public relations. You're really good at at that. Um, and I'm writing like the way I frame what I'm doing is I'm writing a distributed essay for the artificial super intelligences that are going to come.
No, I get that,
And
but
yeah,
I'm basically acting as the middleman until then because I can do what
it,
that thing is gonna do, which is
but I am starting to publish and write the websites and all those sort of things slowly but surely. So um,
I am. I'll just say this on the recording here for the record. I am disappointed in. Wait, where'd it go? Wait, where'd it go? Where's the essays? Oh, there it goes. Okay. This thing is still. Is that true? Is it really currently being written? I don't think so. You're talking with Defender right now. You're not writing.
well, it's currently being written. It obviously not at every single moment that I'm
Okay. Okay.
awake. No, I'm talking,
uh,
but it's a process.
but I want this. I mean, you said I already know parts of it, but whatever. Okay. The point I was trying to make was. Oh. Um, all we need to do is you don't have to like okay this is where hierarchies come in. You
Yeah.
you are a finite being and there's only so few people that you can have full understanding of and have them in your mind and have them understand their language and talk to them and trust them. Okay, now
Sufficient. I think it's
what.
sufficient because I don't know if I don't know if I'll be able to have complete understanding, sadly, but
So that's your circle. Okay, but then there's like literally like a million people, and they can be all kinds of crazy, um, but you can interact with them and rely on them because I can build an interface, specific API to them. So I can be like, hey, this guy, Emergent, I trust him for the following XYZ, and you need someone who's XYZ, and then I put you guys in a box, and then you get the thing you need and he gets the thing he needs and it's beautiful. um,
Mhm.
that's what I'm trying to do with you. And like like Sam is one of the first people I'm trying to do this with. I think, I mean, I don't yet know exactly what role he would play for you and what role you play for him, but I'm like, I'm just that's what I was telling you. Remember I said like
We
there it,
definitely identify two niche people with very aligned independent discoveries, right? So that was very useful. There aren't that many people who arrive independently at computational
right.
ethics or what
Like
who formalize, I guess, theology in a way that is like
well,
adaptive.
I believe this strongly. Like I think there is no world where you succeed in your trajectory and Sam is not working on the thing you're working on. Like I believe this is a very strong conviction, a very strong prediction I have. Unless one of you like, is not with us anymore. Um
Just say,
so so
okay, we
so I'm like, okay, so I know it's gonna happen down the line. And right
mm,
now it seems like both of you have needs. So why don't we just kickstart it now? Because I think it's gonna move things forward, and this doesn't require sort of like moving in the inner circle here because that does take a lot of time and effort. But I'm defining sort of the bridge for you guys to interact. I just need. I mean, I already have a lot of pieces from Sam because he's doing what I need him to, which is just publishing regularly his thoughts, his log, all that good stuff. Um,
wait, does
with
he have a log aside his Substack?
he has the
Or are you
log,
saying
the login ORI.
okay, yeah.
Like I feel like I know I like what I was doing with like the GitHub issues thing. Like I feel like Sam doesn't have that, but I know what he's working on at any given point because we've just gotten to that point. Um,
Mm,
and if I tell him like that's not important, why aren't you working on this? Either he says here's why, or he says oh you're right, and he does the thing. So we're very synced in that way. Um,
that's cool.
and but if I can get pieces from you here, um, he's going off this way because that's where the reward is. Remember, that's where like he's trying to make computational theology, computational ethics, all that stuff a real thing. That's his real goal. But right now, the people with resources, like his real goal is over there. But the people with resources, there's no line there. How is he supposed to get there? There's nothing there for him, and so he's working on these things, chasing these things because eventually it'll come back.
It's like a good intermediate step, and it might even help in many ways, right?
Right. And so, but he's
I
doing
mean,
that in the meantime because there's no other option. But you are the other option. That's what I'm trying to say. Like the lab, the frontier AI lab that he's pitching, is great. It's super high prestige, but it's still a Trojan horse because he still can't compress the right trajectory that he wants with them. And he's like, maybe we can get there with them if I start to work with them. But you're already where he, and you have to trust me on this. But I think you're already where he wants to be going, and you guys like each one of you alone, and you don't have this problem. Other people have this problem of like, well, if you're going alone in a trajectory, like, am I crazy? Like, I have no feedback. Like, am I on the right track or not? Um, so you guys together
wait,
anchor each other. Yeah.
we we don't have that problem, but I guess some people have figured out like ways to test themselves, and hopefully it's robust enough that they can go even if they don't get feedback. But I think it's useful to get feedback.
Right,
So
but I think you still have to have some courage, or also like tolerance for like your friends and family being like, "What the hell are you doing?"
well,
If
yeah, it's like a bundle. No, you need the testing system, but you also like you said you need
it's the
stamina,
emotional
courage.
tolerance, yeah, because especially if your friends and family are, if you're so sure you're right, but your friends and family are like, "What the hell are you doing?" and you're telling them, but they don't believe you, and you either have to tell them they're wrong and they think you're crazy, or you have to tell them like, "Okay, yeah, you're right. I'm just doing like a fun thing on the side," and you have to like kind of like it's just this tough position to be in. But
Yeah.
which is by the way, this is half of what I do. Like I find these people who are like I can recognize what they're doing, and I'm like, I see you. You're trying to go
Mhm.
here, and they're like, oh my god, I can't believe someone else sees that, and that's why they keep sending me all the goddamn. Everyone sends me everything, and I'm like, I don't have time for all this shit. But I
You
love
have
it.
become an embodied intelligence agency.
No, I mean this is real. I am an open source intelligence issue, but also like there's a thing called public. I haven't really read this but I just
Totally get
feel
it.
uh, I
Oh, I love this.
like I think I'm like public universal researcher,
Mm.
public universal peer. Like I'm everyone's peer, which I think kind of is like, you know,
It's
friendly,
an interesting echo between Quaker and Quokka.
right? Um, I think there's something here, but it really is just like I can read any mind and I can shapeshift into what they want to hear. Like that's how I test people. And then, by the way, this is how it's because some people I can connect with and they're like they're experiencing psychosis. Although I really haven't found. I can just enter any mind and see the world through them and like nothing. It's not. No one's ever crazy from the inside of their own mind. Everything makes sense from the inside. It always does.
Um, well, it feels like it makes sense at the very least. But yeah, I mean, given their own worldview, things feel like they make sense. And
Right,
so if
right.
you
Like
inhabit
I
what they feel,
the truth may be like these three boxes, but they see they see something crazy, they see something completely not there, but I can learn to see that. Like it's like I start to learn to look through their world model,
yeah.
look at the world through their world model, and in fact I can show them new things that they didn't see before through their lens, and then they get really attached because they're like I can't believe someone else sees through my mind.
Well, that like that's the superpower of like you as a translator know that if you want to teach someone something, you first need to know their language, but
Exactly.
you're taking it to the conceptual language or the model itself in their
Yes.
mind.
Yes.
You're starting from their point and then leading them in the direction.
Exactly.
Hopefully,
Exactly. Which is really the trick, and this is and the reason people. I used to think like if once I explain this, everyone's just gonna do it, and I'm not gonna be useful anymore. But I realized the reason this is hard for people is that um, if you adopt their world model, well, now it's in your brain. Like you're infected now.
I mean, I think that's like a separate maybe skill that we can develop, which is like how do you create a container
Yeah.
the same way that you have like a virtual machine
Exactly. I was
running
gonna say
Windows.
virtual machine. Yeah. Yeah.
If you develop that skill, it's actually you become protected and you won't be infected, or it's very hard.
I
It'll be
think
harder for you.
I think it's a tricky thing because I think it's hard, but even if it's not hard, like once you learn, okay, because here's another problem. Once you learn how to do this, sandboxing or virtual machining, um,
Yeah.
you can do this like split, like you can kind of become this like split personality thing. You can, um, like it's not a virtual machine is not free, like it takes up resources.
There's
Um,
like additional debt. Um,
right, right. Um,
but
so
the thing is, like, are you getting a bang for your buck? Like, is there an ROI? Like, maybe the cost is worth it currently, and eventually we can delete the virtual machine once everyone's aligned.
no, that's
We
actually
should.
it. No, that's it. The problem is like, and I think Sam says this too. I don't remember where, but he talks about like you can keep like since you get like computational debt, right? You can keep getting more and more computational debt until like you run
Mhm.
out of resources, and that's like a really bad place to be because the crash is going to be hard, um, and that's not. Yeah, we want to prevent people from being stuck there. Uh, I'm gonna
Well,
tweet
this is
this. Yeah.
where, on the note of like unifying fields, this is where economics and ethics actually start to like unify also, because I think it was like Adam Smith. He had a piece on moral sentiments, which was all about morality, and then he had obviously he fathered economics, and there's been like this view that they're separate, and maybe I think utility curves in economics is like the first crack or the first canary in the coal mine of, oh, actually we can unify these fields. And so I think as we formalize a lot of ethics and morality, we'll see that maybe a lot of these financial models of how to manage debt become very applicable,
I'm
and we
excited.
can
See,
just like,
this is what I really want to start doing the work. It feels like that we're still sort of setting up for the work, but I really want to fucking do the work. And I think you're right that it needs the right like container needs to be beautiful, it needs the right launch, all that's good. But in the meantime, like you know what, there's two things happening here. There's like setting up the curtains for like a big curtain reveal, but also behind the curtains, we're working on the thing.
And we launched trailers. This is a trailer in a sense.
No, yeah, no,
It's
actually, no. This is real.
like
Um,
it's all the behind the scenes in the
I'm
so
so
we have the
excited.
behind the
This is
scenes.
good. I'm so glad we did this. We're gonna do this weekly. I think we'll just take this as is and put it on YouTube, my YouTube channel, which just doesn't have a lot of viewers, and you can just send it to whoever. You
I
can.
feel like a lot of people are going to see some of the words we're dropping here and be very curious.
I
They
I
won't
I,
like we have, but
yeah, I
yeah.
just tweeted it. And okay, to wrap up, we can stop here, or if you want to look at my notifications, I've always wanted to show someone all my notifications.
Sure, show us all.
Let's do it. Oh my God! Finally, somebody asked. Thank you.
I'll give you permission.
Okay, so I have a bunch of these people who have notifications on for, which I've been wanting to make a list of them. I just think it's interesting to see
Okay.
who I'm paying attention to.
I, I recognize 4 or 5.
Do you know Blair?
Yeah, oh, isn't it Blue Blaries?
Yeah, but her
I
name
didn't
is
realize.
Blair. But yes,
Yeah, I didn't know the name, but you've told me about her.
I actually don't remember who this guy is. I don't know why I have him on notifications, but I've been trying to figure that out.
I'm
Um,
sorry, Simplex.
Marianne. I have much to say about Marianne. I don't know how much she pays attention to me these days, um, but I'm inspired by her. She's a cool because she's doing the
Mm,
thing that I this is the Memetics Lab. This is the thing, the open source intelligence agency. Um,
yeah,
this guy, he's sort of
this
like a
guy's interesting.
he's like a Janus replicate kind of person.
He's in the same cluster. Although for some reason he does like I haven't you he follows you, but he's never followed me, even though I've given him some alpha.
He's
Although
quite
I,
a I mean, I think it took him a while. I think for like he had like a week where he was like, I replied to a few things and he was like, "Wait, you know this? Can you say more?" And he was like, "What do you know?" He's like, "You got to come to SF. We got to talk or something like that." Um,
remember
and
what it was that he was like peaked by. Because my interaction with him, I think it was like 2 years ago or something. He essentially said something along the lines of, "I don't want to reveal my theory to you because I think it'll be useful if we work in parallel and
oh
see if
yeah,
we."
yeah, yeah.
Actually, I think he avoided me because
That's
I
funny.
was close.
Which is maybe like a good yeah. Um,
I definitely find what does very interesting, and I think a lot of his art, also his animations, are very beautiful. Did you find the thing or?
I think this was it. We were talking about like mysticism and theology. I think he got excited because I was talking about Islam, or no, that was Logan. Incompatible religions. Yeah, I actually think he wants to be in this like computational theology thing. Like, and this is what I'm saying. Like, there's like, anytime there's a field that needs to be born, there's a bunch of people approaching it with very different language models, different directions, and they're all waiting for someone to pull it all together. And that's why, okay, can I just tell you this honestly? The right way to start a
Mhm.
field is to be the dumbest person in the room, because then everybody. Do you understand why that is? I have to.
Yes. Well, you have to be like children to enter the kingdom of heaven. But you basically like the more questions you're willing to ask, the dumber you're willing to look, the faster you'll get to the answers. And
Well,
I was happy to share stuff with Arthropod, but
there's actually
I think you're to yourself.
there's like an ego thing here because the guy who starts the field becomes like oh, do you understand like Visa's like role in Teapot?
Um, I understand it as many things. I think one of the things he's done is he's helped shift uh shift the zero sum sort of perspective
But
a lot
like
of dynamics
think
to
about Visa's from Visa's perspective, from his first perspective right now. What is he doing day to day? What is his relationship to Teapot? He's stuck in a specific way, which is like you're way too glorified
Mm,
as sort of like because like like you sort of made the entry point for like all these people, like you sort of started this whole culture, you started this whole thing for so many people, So you're this like really
Mm.
big figure, but also you're still like a normal guy and you want to like do normal things in order to grow. You still have a lot of growth to do. Um,
Yeah.
but it's hard to do that from this a very high position of like being on this pedestal. Um,
Mm.
so it's a similar thing here. Like like who gets to start a scientific field? Like if somebody starts the field, they're like that's the guy who starts the field. And if you contribute to the field, now you're working under that guy. Like that's the guys above you permanently, and that leads to this like ego fight.
Maybe, but I mean, again, this is a sort of part of the meta issue of this whole thing, where people are they think that they're working for someone, and if they realize that we don't have well, it's not a competition in that sense,
Right,
the
right.
thing already existed, right?
I
Like
guess, but do you
we're
see this is
collaborators. Yeah, I agree that this is part of the mentality that people
well,
have, and that's
but it's funny because
slowing things
I
down.
think this is how we complement each other. Because remember my whole thing about bridge building and you making the new door. I'm like, given the current situation, what can be done to take a step towards Northant? And are thinking about the Northant in its absolute, in its complete sense, which is why I think you continually reject necessary evil because you're like, it's not necessary, and if it was necessary, then it's not evil. And I mean, I think I get that now. Um,
Mhm.
but what I'm doing is I'm thinking like, okay, so that yes, and given the
But I
current,
agree. I agree with that. We need the bridge. We need the
that's what
steps.
I'm saying. Like that's what I built, and that's what I do, and I'm like, it's actually a different question than um, the Northern. Like someone needs to figure out the Northern, and someone needs to figure out the bridge from here to there. Those
Exactly. So actually, we haven't gone far in a lot of the stuff here, but this is what we would call like computing the trajectory. So once you have like the north in space, then you have to compute what are the actual points that we can reach, and in which order and which trajectories are plausible, and how can we make them happen. So you're working on the trajectories, or at least the first steps, which are the next steps in a sense. Um, both are equally important. Okay.
This is me talking about Ogi's god.
Oh, interesting.
Ogi's god is weird because he doesn't like tribes, which is
Yeah, I mean, tribalism is not great. I think the way actually a lot of the people in Janus's replicate circle, including Arthropod, did they I think they misunderstood something I did earlier on into 2023.
mm,
Um, which was that I was saying that there there is like a tribe that should exist, or there is it, like they were saying everything's unified, we're all one, and I was saying that there needs to be a division.
mm,
The question is like, what is actually the dividing line?
mm.
Um, it, if there is no division, then we're saying that like not everyone's equally good in a sense, or everyone's good. Uh, Tribalism is always trying to divide lines, but the re like the lines they choose to draw are kind of like adaptive or even dumb many times, and counterproductive, because they're arbitrary, like superficial things. But what if the line that was drawn was very precisely like who's good and who's bad, or who's trying to be good, who's trying to be bad? Then the good tribe and the bad tribe, as opposed to the blue tribe and the red tribe, or the
Yeah,
gray
yeah, yeah,
tribe,
yeah, yeah.
all these weird abstractions get in the way of the actual thing that matters, the actual line that needs to be drawn. And it doesn't matter once what preferences you have, if you're part of the good versus bad one.
I
Um,
was almost made this tweet, but I knew it was gonna make people mad because they don't understand this yet. But I was like, we really are in a war between good versus evil. And again, it's not about good people versus evil people. It's good. It's just good versus evil. Period.
yeah, like good abstractions, good patterns
The whole thing.
versus
Yeah,
evil.
yeah, yeah. Which I mean, I
I have
think
a about
yeah,
just like you don't actually hate anyone. You only hate the bad components, or
right.
the negatively sloped vectors that are composing that person. And if you removed those or you made those vectors positive, you would like that person.
See, these are like the kind of things that you repeat a lot, and I'm like, okay, these are the things that are like the, if we go to the meta alignment, wait, where is it?
Yeah, I guess a lot of these things are like the
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 building
the,
blocks.
the one or the beginning building
That's what I'm
blocks of
saying. Yeah,
everything.
and I think again, I think that's my thing. Like I'm very good at like making the building blocks, the one on one. Um,
Mm,
but that's what I would put because then you can actually put this in like a very concise document. Um, that gets people in, and if people already know it, like Sam, then they can recognize it, like you know what you're talking about, and then they can ask like, wait, where is your frontier? And then they can jump up there, and you can write that even though most people don't get it, but people who get it will get it, and that's how the field gets built
yeah,
this way.
we're already like we're exercising our language here. ABU, computational
Yeah,
debt
right,
from Sam.
right, right.
We're like, oh, we're already doing it. You know.
I love it, and
We don't-
that's what I mean. That's why I'm like, all we need to do is set up the structure, and then have these like weekly calls, and then these regular, once a month or something pitch jams, and then projects happen. Like, because it's also about like there's a lot of stuff that's already been happening in the world that is already like the optimal structure, and we just need to adopt it. For example, when I worked at a big company or even a small company, we had
Mhm,
we had three levels of organization. We had like you know the big like north star for the company, but also we had like each quarter, so each like 3 month period plan, and then we
mhm,
had a kind of monthly plan, then we had a weekly plan, and then each person maybe optional had their like daily sort of
mhm.
we have a daily stand up, I guess, for this. um, so this is it. So like you're always kind of adjusting or figure out your north star, and the daily stuff is like every great thing is done with like a series of moment to moment steps. Um,
Yeah, I think it, like keep going down from daily to hourly. The
yeah, it keeps
schedule, and
going,
then
right? Uh,
every actual conscious frame that you're experiencing, and then between those frames. And once you go between those frames, that's when we get to vertical progress.
and you can see how like these like the daily and the weekly stuff is the team wide, the people you're working with day to day. The monthly stuff is for the org, all the other teams under the umbrella. The big quarter thing is like an all hands. These two are like all hands, and then I guess I don't know. We're missing like the spaceship
And
or
the thing is, like, you're using currently, yeah, because I was saying you're using the company language, but if you keep moving upwards as opposed to downwards, that's when you start moving into the territory of movements and nations
right,
and
right,
then religions and then we have, I guess, yeah, religion is like the closest thing to the infinite.
right,
Spaceship Earth is
right.
part of it. Is that another frame for that?
No, I love it. This is
So yeah.
good. We did it. This is what I've been wanting to.
Yeah, I mean, we have a lot to unpack. So we only got past the first point and a half, I guess.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Or
yeah.
some,
Right, but there's more to do. Right, I know, I know. But this is the important part. Is like we have to broadcast, but also we have to do the work ourselves. And I'm like, what if we just broadcast the work, and then it's not extra work to do. It actually doubles, and
no, I like it. It starts to create the track record and archive and history, and I think people love seeing
the process.
early video.
Yeah,
Like whenever you see an overnight success, there's never an overnight success, and so
exactly. There's
I
always
think
a
people
process.
they like the documentation and going back and so I say hello to you, future friends
Yeah,
and maybe foes. Like this is ground zero of
this is it.
of Defender, like a recording online, and we'll probably be talking to you decades from now. You probably be hearing about us. Who knows? Thousands of years from now. We'll see.
No, it's a good time.
Take
All right,
care.
gonna stop the recording here. This is great. I'm gonna tell
Oh,
you
but
how my Blood on the Clock Tower game goes later today. Um,
yeah, I'm
uh,
gonna shave for my birthday tomorrow.
oh yeah, happy birthday.
I'm doing something culturally, like trying to get some alignment going. Because currently, my family, friends are kind of siloed, and I'm like, why don't I just do a laser tag game with all of them? This like big sort of cathartic battle. And and then maybe we don't have to be so atomized after that.
That sounds actually kind of nice. That's a good
For part
alignment
see,
experiment.
my mother thinks it's going to be very awkward, and that people don't like you don't invite your cousins, your small cousins, and your uncles to play with your friends and all this stuff at the same time.
Right.
But like, why not? Like, we shouldn't be so divided. We should appreciate the people in our lives.
No, I'm glad you're trying it. And before we go, does this seem appropriate? This is the
I see what you're doing. A little party hat.
yeah. It is better. Yeah.
Easy. Yeah.
All right.
This is a-
All right. Enjoy
Maybe.
that. Happy birthday. I'll see you around.
Although we should put your photo up there so that people also.
Yeah, I
I
was
think in
gonna.
the
I just didn't get to it, but it also maybe I was like, because it's going on my channel and people know me. I don't know, but yes, I. This
yeah,
is
you should
like,
have a
it,
thumbnail with both of us and party hats.
sure,
No.
celebration.
Okay.
All right, stop in the
Hey, take
recording here.
I'm
See ya.
turning the room.